Pisces.
Hello Pisces, happy birthday. This is your forecast for March of 2017. And let me tell you though, first of all, I want to apologize for sounding nasal. Just came out of a great cold, and that's why we're a little delayed on getting these videos up. But bear with me. We have two clusters. We're looking at them here in your chart. The outer planets, they're pretty much, where they've been for these last few months. They move slowly. But your inner personal planets, they're in your first house, your second house. So we have the Sun, Mercury here, alongside with Neptune, your ruler, in the first house. And that's beautiful. That's you expressing your creativity. It's you expressing your spirituality. You're communicating it, you're radiating it, you're getting it out and about to those who are around you. Now, the second house, which has to do with money, income, I can see this as a month where you're really going to be focusing on how to bring more money in, perhaps through creative aspects. And I can see new income streams being potentially given to you. But also, it's not just money coming in. It's also a month where money will be going out. Why? Because it's the second house, and Venus loves to shop when it's in the second house. It wants new things. Whatever it is of renewal, I feel for you, it could be good. Just be careful that you don't overspend, but that would be more like Jupiter, right? Jupiter can really overspend when it's in this area. Venus, though, will be retrograde from March 4th straight through April 15th. This is a time you might want to be a little cautious. Since it's in your second house for money, you don't want to overspend or buy something of very expensive nature, okay? Like don't buy a new car or anything like that, because that retrograde could show there might be a flaw on it. And for those of you thinking you want new tattoos or embellish upon whatever, getting plastic surgery, that's a no-go always when Venus is retrograde. Those surgeries will not come out the way you had hoped, anticipated, or dreamed about, all right? You want to wait to after April 15th. I would say give it an extra couple of weeks to move away from the shadow of its retrograde. So from May onwards, you're free to go as far as that goes. But having both Venus and Mars here, it's really crunching numbers, looking at your income scales. It might be you doing taxes at this time, especially because Jupiter is up there in your 8th house, right? So you're looking at your accounts and your balances and what works for you and how can you shore things up, improve it. Venus comes along once a year, Mars every 2 years. So money is going to be on your mind in March, and this is your birth month, meaning that you're opening up for a new solar cycle after the Sun has met up with you on your very date of birth, right? We also have the new moon in this area, and of course, the new moon is always when we place our intentions. This will take place on March 27th. So what should our intentions be when the new moon is in the second house? Well, it should have everything to do with what that signifies. Not just money, but it's also self-esteem, self-worth, all those things where you place worth into. Now, having both Venus and Mars there, we're also talking romantic values. How do you see yourself? How do you see the partners that you engage with, right? Uranus is in this area as well, so things are changing for you financially. Now, this could be a time where you could see a rise of fortune coming in. It could also be maybe, I won't say promotion, though it could be. You got Saturn in your 10th house. And so I'd like to mention that a little bit, because since we have the 10th house of career here, got the 2nd house of money, income coming here, there could be something being proposed to you. And we do have a couple of transits this month where that could actually open up a door for you. In that case, check it out, Pisces, okay? You've worked so hard in the last 28 years of your life not to mention the last 14 years has really been where you've been climbing towards where you have landed today. And so it's all about, where do you go from here? What is that new 28, 29-year cycle going to be of Saturn, right? Because you're in a place of achievement right now, but where do you want to take it? Now, having all of the influences that you have in the first and second house right now, it's kind of like drawing you towards a new goal, new perception. So keep your eyes and ears open to see what could be given to you, proposed to you. I definitely, if never before this month, I would advise you to listen to your moon and rising sign. Since we have two clusters going on and we know it's the first and second, I want you to look at those charts and see where these two clusters are showing up in the other charts, the other readings, because that's going to show you where you're going to get all that extra help, right? Where you can get extra focus on what's going to lift and elevate you here in March. So absolutely do that. You'll find it on the playlist right here under that information button, so it's easy to find. You don't have to go searching for it on YouTube. They're all listed right there on the playlist. Jupiter, I did mention, is retrograde and from February 6th through June 10th. So when Jupiter is retrograde, he kind of slows down a little bit. It's in your 8th house for money, not necessarily like your day-to-day or month-to-month income, but it's more like your investments, long-term funds that you're setting off, savings and so forth. It may slow down, but there's still factors working for you behind the veils. So I don't think it's going to do too much for you. Not in that respect. What can trigger it for you, and I do want to talk about this transit, which is taking place on the 3rd. Give it a little bit more attention. Why? Because Jupiter, being your old ruler, of course today it is Neptune, but Jupiter for all of us, regardless of what sign we are, Jupiter rules our faith, what we believe in. It rules our truth. Now, our truth can be different, right? We all have our truth. It's relative. But it's opposing Uranus. And so we can see that justice in the system, nationally, but also globally, of course this is a global aspect, we might see a little rebel, and we can see that in headline news already. It's not going to go away anytime soon. A lot of this started off, and I'm not a political person at all, but a lot of this started off here with what took place here with Trump coming in, and we can see the rest of the world is reacting to it. These headline news, they're not going to stop anytime soon. Jupiter until June 10th, it's going to be opposing Uranus. It will take some time for it to move out of its retrograde to come back forward again, and it will be touching up on Uranus again before we're done. So I'd say between now and, say, end of July, we're going to hear a lot. So the best thing we can do for ourselves, those people that we love, is to come to one term of an agreement, and that is to be happy to agree to disagree. Make room for other people's truth, all right? So we can find a balance, we can find harmony, but of course a lot of this is playing itself out. But now in your personal chart, where is it showing up? You got Uranus in the 2nd house, you got Jupiter in the 8th house. Somewhere along these lines, well, we're not talking politics now, are we? Even though that can play into, but you're going to have this little seesaw effect in your financial situation between now and that of July as well. Sometimes when the transits are hitting Jupiter in a good way, or Uranus, that can open up a door with surprise and generosity. But then if you're having negative or hardcore aspects hitting either Jupiter or Uranus for you over these next few months, well then that can jolt you as well. So just be aware, don't overspend, don't overuse, as long as things are a little bit like this over these next couple of months. But you're generally in a good place financially, Pisces, better than you have been for quite a while, and especially this month of March, having both Venus and Mars there. That was a long rattle. Now, we have, starting off the month, the Sun and Neptune, they are conjunct. That's your ruler. And I see the month starting off with you holding a vision and you want to hang on to it. It's in your first house. So it kind of circles around you, your personality, and what it is you want now to express. Then we have on the 4th, you communicating maybe what that vision might be. And the feedback will be automatic. You will get back whether this is something that feels viable or not. I should feel it's very good because on the 5th, Mars, still in your 2nd house for money and income, is creating this beautiful trine to your Saturn up in the 10th house for career, locking something in. And so I feel that whatever you're working on now as new goals would be great. On the 7th through the 9th, it's all about communication and how you communicate these profound insights, thoughts that you are having. The Sun and Mercury both will be lining up in a positive aspect to Pluto. Pluto being in your 11th house for friendships, acquaintances, hopes and dreams, but also groups and organizations. So whatever you're expressing or bringing out there or taking in, listening from any of these areas, that should be something that I feel is going to inspire you as you are inspiring somebody else. On the 10th, Mars is moving out of your financial area into the 3rd house of communication, short distance travel. The rest of the month, you might find yourself back and forth, okay? Short distance travel, journey, or just out and about getting a lot of errands done, catching up on it. But also, 3rd house is your siblings, so there might be more interaction with one or more of your siblings at this time, more communication. If you're thinking about publishing, this is a great time to get that out because it's all about communication, that 3rd house, right? And it ties into the axis of publication as well. We just have a little bit of downtime in March. That's between the 12th and 17th when both the Sun and Mercury are up against Saturn. And we always want Saturn to be, you know, on our side, looking out for us, securing, anchoring things in. But it's like up against the wall of Saturn, which has to do with your career. So there might be something you need to balance out or negotiate or be a little patient with within the career. But it's only 5 days. You can do that. You can do that gracefully because you have other things that are really supporting you. So don't really buy into any drama of it. Just allow it to ride and then see. On the 20th, the Sun will move into Aries. That is going to be a booster rocket. You're coming out from that 1st house of self and personality straight into your financial house. So where Mars left this area, the Sun is coming in, taking over what Mars has laid down as a foundation, and you're going to continue to have this focus on getting all your numbers, all your ducks in a row, right? Crunching them, laying the foundation, because it's going to be a whole year before the Sun gets back here. It's going to be 2 years before Mars gets back here. So, you know, and you're not really a person, Pisces, that focuses a lot on money nor numbers. You're a creative spirit. You like to be free, all those things. But this is why we can thank the planets that will come in and help us, shore us up, right? So that we can get the facts down. And once it is, then we don't have to think about it for a long time, right? 25th is a very romantic evening. The Sun and Venus, they are conjunct. It is in your 2nd house. So the sense of self-esteem is really high here as well. The sharing is good. There's a generosity and a flair around it. On the 26th, some unexpected news coming in. This is Mercury and Uranus. When they line up like this is also your 2nd house. So there could be unexpected news or gain as far as your finances are concerned. And you can see how we're talking about the same houses, the same areas being targeted right now because of these clusters That's why I say listen to your moon or rising sign. So go up to that playlist and hear what else is being targeted in your chart this month. Moving right along, for the next romantic evening of the month is when Mars and Neptune, they meet up, do the dance. It is a sextile. Mars for you now in your third house. Communication of those things that you believe in, that you trust, what you feel. It's between the first and the third house. It could be you now really cutting to the core of something essential. It could be your partner coming to you with something of essence, but it's a very creative, not just romantic, but it's also a very creative aspect for those of you who are artists, musicians, and so forth. Make the most out of it. I think you can hear cosmic symphonies in your mind if you are a musician. Totally, totally inspiring. Then we have the end of the month. We're kind of closing off on Jupiter, squaring off on Pluto. Now, we did talk about Uranus and Jupiter being opposed. That can be tough enough, right? But for Jupiter to also square up on Pluto, well, Jupiter is our big best friend forever. That's always generous for us, giving and everything. It's our truth, it's our justice and everything. And it's being challenged by these two other planets. And when they're not happy, they're not happy. We want to keep an eye on the horizon for March 30th. Hopefully this will go well, but it's going to linger because Jupiter is moving very slowly due to that retrograde. So it might be a situation that will arise and linger on that horizon for a while. In your chart, Jupiter being in your 8th house, your Pluto in the 11th house. So for you, that has to do with what you value as far as savings, or it could be money that you have with others, shared resources, investments, stocks, that kind of thing. Pluto in the 11th house has to do with your hopes and your dreams. So there might be a little bit of a shift here. We want to pay attention to it, right? But listen, we have May, I'm saying April coming up next. May is really going to open up a door, but April here now, we're taking these energies moving forward, and we'll see exactly what that is going to do for your Pisces. So I'll see you next month. Have a good one now.